For thousands of years, the Great Pyramids of Egypt have stood as the ultimate riddle carved in stone. Rising from the golden sands of Giza, these colossal monuments are not merely tombs. They are technological enigmas that defy everything we know about human capability. How could a civilization more than 4,000 years ago, with no modern machines, no iron tools, and no advanced mathematics, create such perfection? Each block, weighing up to 80 tons, aligned so precisely that even a razor blade cannot slip between them. How was that possible? What kind of knowledge could make this real? Mainstream Egyptology says it was done with manpower, ropes, and ramps. But if that were true, where are the remains of those ramps? Where are the tools powerful enough to cut and polish granite harder than steel? Every time archaeologists dig deeper, the mystery only grows. Inside the Great Pyramid of Khufu, the stones fit within millimeters. The entire monument is aligned perfectly with true north, south, east, and west. Its proportions mirror the planet itself. The pyramid's height multiplied by 1 billion equals the distance from Earth to the Sun. Its base perimeter reflects the length of 1 second of the planet's rotation. Coincidence or calculation far beyond the reach of ancient builders? Imagine this: no cranes, no steel, no wheel, yet a precision that NASA engineers admire today. Could the ancient Egyptians have possessed a kind of technology we've lost? And if so, where did it come from? Some say the answer lies not in muscle, but in sound. The ancients believed sound carried power, creation, destruction, transformation. What if sound itself, vibration and frequency was the key? What if it could move stone, alter weight, and bend reality? In 1837, explorer Howard Vyse blasted into hidden chambers above the King's Chamber. There, he found massive granite slabs stacked with perfect symmetry. Modern engineers studying those chambers centuries later discovered something eerie. They resonate, strike them, and they sing, deep and harmonic. These weren't random blocks. They were tuned, like instruments in a grand orchestra of stone. Ancient texts spoke of Heka, a force the Egyptians called magic, but its true meaning was knowledge of natural laws. Maybe what they called magic, we would call physics. If sound could influence matter, if vibration could lift stone, then these people didn't just build monuments. They harnessed the unseen. They mastered resonance, the same principle that makes glass shatter under a singer's note, or bridges sway under rhythmic marching. Perhaps they used it to make stone itself lighter. It sounds impossible, yet scattered through ancient history are whispers of the same power. In Tibet, monks were said to levitate rocks with horns and chants. In South America, the builders of Tiahuanaco shaped granite blocks with unimaginable precision. Across the globe, different civilizations, same impossible feats. The Great Pyramid's inner design may hide this truth. The Grand Gallery, narrow and steep, is lined with slots and cavities that behave like an acoustic amplifier. When tested, it magnifies sound at certain frequencies. It's as if the structure itself was built to channel resonance, to vibrate in harmony with something greater. What if the entire pyramid was not just a tomb, but a massive energy device, a resonant machine that interacted with the Earth's magnetic field? Picture it. Under the desert sun, thousands of workers stand before a gleaming white monument. Their voices rise in rhythm, in perfect unison, chanting words of power. The sound swells, deep and pulsing. A great limestone block, resting motionless moments before, begins to tremble. Then, slowly, impossibly, it lifts, floating just inches above the sand, moving, gliding, until it rests perfectly in place. Myth? Or memory of something we've forgotten? There's a reason ancient temples worldwide were designed with precise acoustics. They knew sound could alter consciousness, and maybe matter itself. From the stone circles of Britain to the halls of Karnak, everything resonates at a frequency. Maybe the ancients discovered how to align those frequencies with the Earth's own hum. Maybe the pyramids were built through harmonic technology, one that united sound, magnetism, and geometry into a single system. Across the world, the story repeats. In Lebanon, the Baalbek stones weigh more than 1,000 tons. In Bolivia, Puma Punku's blocks fit together like Lego pieces, carved with a perfection lasers could barely match. Different lands, same impossible skill. How? Why? Did these civilizations share a common origin? One master culture that carried forgotten technology through the ages? The deeper we look, the less sense it makes. These monuments defy randomness. They follow patterns: mathematical, astronomical, energetic. The Giza pyramids are positioned exactly along the Earth's most powerful geodesic line. Their layout mirrors the stars of Orion's belt. It's as if they were built not just for kings, but for the cosmos itself. Maybe that's the secret. The ancients weren't working against nature, they were working with it. And that changes everything we think we know about human history. In the next part, we'll explore the most controversial clues: the sonic experiments, the carvings, the evidence that suggests sound and frequency were not just beliefs, but tools. Tools that could lift, shape, and power the greatest structures ever built. Were the pyramids truly constructed with acoustic technology? Or was something even greater guiding human hands? Stay with us as we continue to unveil what was beyond human capability. Subscribe to Unveil Archive and step deeper into the mysteries of our ancient world. Even in the ruins of ancient South America, some walls appear melted, as if the stone itself was softened by vibration, molded like clay, and then hardened again. Could sound alter the atomic structure of matter? Could it reduce the force of gravity itself? When modern scientists study the King's Chamber, they find more than stone. They find design. The room's dimensions perfectly match the wavelength of specific frequencies. The granite beams above it resonate like tuning forks. Some researchers believe the chamber once held an energy core, perhaps a device, or even a human body that interacted with these frequencies. The entire pyramid may have functioned as a giant energy transducer, converting vibration into power. Ancient energy, not mystical, but mechanical, electrical, acoustic. A lost science we're only beginning to glimpse. And then there's water. Beneath the Great Pyramid lies a network of subterranean tunnels filled with water from the Nile. When water flows, it creates vibration. That vibration, amplified through the stone channels, could generate an electromagnetic field. Combine water, stone, and sound, and you have the principles of energy resonance. Some physicists today suggest that the pyramid might have been an ancient power plant, harnessing natural energy from the Earth's vibration. The pyramid wasn't just built on the land, it was built with the land. But how did the builders know all this? How did they possess knowledge of resonance, magnetism, and planetary geometry? Maybe they didn't discover it. Maybe they inherited it. The ancient texts of Egypt describe a golden age called Zep Tepi, the first time, when gods walked among men and shared their knowledge. The myths say those gods came from the stars, from Orion and Sirius. Modern astronomy reveals that the pyramids are aligned precisely with Orion's belt. Coincidence again? Or a signature left by those who came before? Imagine the scene 4,000 years ago. The desert night silent, except for the rhythmic beat of drums. The priests raise their hands, their chants rising in waves. The air begins to tremble. The instruments hum. Deep inside the chamber, the granite vibrates. Energy fills the air, invisible, powerful. Outside, the stone block begins to lift, guided by unseen forces, sliding into place as if the earth itself obeyed their command. It sounds like fantasy, but what if it was real? What if the ancients weren't primitive at all, but the remnants of a civilization whose science transcended ours? Modern experiments hint it might be possible. In laboratories, scientists have levitated small objects using sound waves, droplets of water, particles of dust, even tiny stones. Using acoustic levitation, they manipulate matter without touch. The same principle, scaled to unimaginable power, could move blocks of limestone. The difference is scale, not concept. What we call futuristic, the ancients may have called sacred. When we dismiss their knowledge as superstition, we ignore the evidence carved in stone, the precision, the mathematics, the geometry. These are not the marks of ignorance. They are signatures of intelligence, of mastery. Perhaps the ancients didn't need machines because they were the machines. Their voices, their instruments, their temples all resonating with the universe. They understood energy not as something to harness, but as something to harmonize with. And that, perhaps, was their greatest secret. Yet something happened. That knowledge vanished. The tools, the records, the techniques, all lost. What survived were myths, symbols, fragments of a truth too great to comprehend. Maybe it was hidden on purpose. Maybe it was never meant for the hands of those who sought power without understanding. But every discovery, every stone, every vibration brings us closer to what they once knew. We stand now on the threshold of rediscovery. Scientists explore acoustic levitation, plasma energy, frequency therapy, echoes of the same knowledge hidden inside the pyramids. The ancients didn't just build monuments, they built messages, frequencies encoded in stone, waiting for us to listen. In the next part, we will follow these echoes even deeper, into the temples, the hieroglyphs, the myths that describe machines of light and sound. What if the pyramids were not tombs at all, but resonant gateways? Devices that connected our world to something beyond. Subscribe to Unveil Archive and continue the journey as we unveil the secrets that once shaped the impossible. The ancient world whispers through symbols. The Eye of Horus, the Scarab, the Ankh, all speak of energy, rebirth, and the cycles of power that flow through all living things. To most, these are religious icons, but to those who look deeper, they might be the language of lost technology. The blueprint of a civilization that understood how to tap into the very forces of nature itself. The pyramids, aligned with the stars, pulsing with geometry, could be more than tombs. They might have been machines. Machines that drew energy from the earth and projected it into the sky. The Great Pyramid sits at the center of Earth's landmass. Its coordinates correspond almost perfectly with the speed of light. 299,792, 458 meters per second. No one can explain how the ancient Egyptians could encode such precision without modern instruments. Beneath it, water flows through the limestone bedrock, generating piezoelectric energy. The granite inside, rich in quartz and crystal, acts as a conductor. When vibration passes through quartz, it produces an electrical charge. Combine this with the pyramid's shape, a natural amplifier, and you have a self-sustaining energy system. Could the pyramid have been designed to harness this power? Could it have been a generator, not of light, but of life force? Nikola Tesla, the father of modern electricity, studied these mysteries. He believed the Earth itself was a giant resonator, a conductor of natural energy. He built his Wardenclyffe Tower in the early 1900s, inspired by the pyramids, to transmit wireless energy through the planet's electromagnetic field. Tesla once said, "If you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." The ancients may have understood that truth long before him. Inside the king's chamber, some scientists have detected subtle electromagnetic fields, stronger than anywhere else in the pyramid. The chamber acts as a resonant cavity, focusing energy toward the apex. If this energy interacted with the Earth's field, it could create standing waves, invisible currents connecting ground and sky. Perhaps this was the true purpose of the pyramid. Not a tomb for the dead, but a device for the living. A bridge between Earth and the cosmos. A transmitter of consciousness, not just electricity. In 2018, researchers from the Institute of Laser Physics in Russia simulated the pyramid's geometry using electromagnetic modeling. The results were stunning. The model revealed that the Great Pyramid concentrates energy in its internal chambers and under its base. The energy doesn't scatter randomly. It focuses like a lens. The pyramid, they discovered, behaves like a resonant antenna, a design far too advanced for primitive builders. Yet there it stands, timeless, precise, alive with purpose. Ancient writings speak of the stone that sings, the house of eternity, and the light of Ra, contained within the pyramid. Could these be poetic references to an energetic core? Some theorists suggest a crystalline device once rested inside the king's chamber, a capstone of gold or electrum at the top. acting as a conductor. Energy from the earth, channeled through the pyramid, could have radiated upward, creating an invisible pillar of light. It sounds fantastical, but modern plasma physics shows that high-frequency energy can create luminous columns, what ancient eyes might have seen as divine radiance. Perhaps that's why every ancient civilization revered the pyramid shape. From Egypt to Mesoamerica to China, the form repeats, massive triangular monuments reaching toward the heavens. Why would cultures separated by oceans, languages, and time build the same structure? Did they all stumble upon the same design by accident, or did they inherit a pattern, a universal architecture rooted in cosmic geometry? Maybe the pyramid was more than a building. Maybe it was a code. The angle of its sides, 51 degrees and 51 minutes, perfectly aligns with the golden ratio, phi 1.618, the same ratio found in galaxies, shells, DNA, and the human body. The ancients built in harmony with the mathematics of life. They didn't just construct stone structures. They built resonant harmonies, encoding the universe into architecture. Every chamber, every corridor, every slope served a purpose: to maintain vibration, to sustain energy, to channel life force. And maybe in that vibration, consciousness itself could expand. Some accounts from ancient Egypt describe initiation rituals within the Great Pyramid. Candidates would lie in the sarcophagus of the king's chamber for 3 days, surrounded by silence, darkness, and vibration. They would awaken claiming to have seen the afterlife, to have merged with the gods. Could this have been an ancient form of consciousness transformation, using sound and geometry to unlock higher states of awareness? The pyramid, then, was not just a tomb or a power plant, but a gateway, a bridge between physical and spiritual dimensions. All around the world, similar practices existed. The Mayans built pyramids that emitted strange sounds when clapped near their steps. The Temple of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza produces an echo that mimics the chirp of a sacred bird, an intentional acoustic design. In China, the White Pyramid near Xi'an shares the same cardinal alignment as Giza. In Bosnia, newly discovered pyramids emit electromagnetic waves from their peaks. Coincidence ends where pattern begins. The pyramid was never merely an Egyptian symbol. Vibajis wai. Di Paris, nai, in di en denai, dai, wai, what si ens der for. Lai a e en sawai. Beijai, the evil signature of advanced understanding. If we accept that these structures were energy devices, it raises one haunting question. What were they powering? Some researchers believe they were part of a global grid, a planetary network of energy nodes connecting major ancient sites. Giza, Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, Easter Island, all positioned on ley lines, invisible currents of Earth energy. It's as if the ancients knew how to tune the planet, to balance it, to maintain harmony between heaven and earth. And when that harmony was lost, when the energy fell silent, the world forgot. What we call ancient history might not be the beginning, but the aftermath. The pyramids could be the surviving memory of a technology too vast, too sacred to be rebuilt. We see only the stone, not the energy that once flowed through it. But the stone remembers. The vibration lingers. And slowly, humanity begins to remember too. In the next part, we will confront the final question. Who built them? And for what true purpose? Were the pyramids created by humans with forgotten knowledge, or by something beyond human? The answer may reshape not only our history, but our place in the cosmos. Subscribe to Unveil Archive, and prepare for the final revelation. The truth behind what was truly beyond human capability. The sands of Egypt hide more than relics. They hide memories. For centuries, the desert has whispered a single question. Who built the pyramids? And why? The answer has always been buried deeper than the stones themselves, beyond myth, beyond science, beyond time. To find it, we must travel not through history, but through the echoes of something older than civilization. The ancient Egyptians themselves never claimed credit for the pyramids. The inscriptions in their temples and papyri say they were built during the time of the gods, the Zep Tepi, the first time. In that distant age, the gods descended from the stars, bringing with them knowledge and order. They taught humankind the arts of geometry, astronomy, and the sacred science of energy. Then, as quickly as they came, they vanished, leaving behind the pyramids as eternal witnesses. Were these gods symbolic, or were they something far more real? Look to the sky. The pyramids of Giza align perfectly with the stars of Orion's belt. The ancient texts associate Orion with Osiris, the god of resurrection, of rebirth, and Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, was linked to Isis, the mother of creation. Every year, when Sirius rose with the sun, the Nile flooded, bringing life to Egypt. The heavens and the earth were one system, synchronized in sacred rhythm. The builders encoded the stars into stone, creating a cosmic mirror, a reflection of heaven on earth. But why? What purpose could demand such precision, such devotion? Some say the pyramids were built to preserve knowledge, to serve as a library of energy, mathematics, and cosmic understanding. Others believe they were markers, beacons placed by an advanced civilization to guide future humanity when the world would once again be ready to listen. Perhaps the pyramids were both, a machine and a message, a code and a call. The Great Pyramid's missing capstone has always been a mystery. Ancient accounts speak of a shining top, a pyramidion of gold, or even of something luminous, radiating light that could be seen for miles. If the pyramid once emitted energy, the capstone could have been the key, focusing power through the apex, projecting it upward like a signal. A beacon, reaching into the stars, perhaps communicating with whoever first brought the knowledge here. Could the pyramids have been part of an ancient communication network connecting Earth to a cosmic civilization? In hieroglyphs, we find strange symbols, serpents of light, discs in the sky, beings with elongated skulls and eyes like mirrors. The ancient Egyptians called them the Shemsu Hor, the followers of Horus. Some archaeologists dismiss them as myth, but the same beings appear in Sumerian tablets, in Mayan glyphs, in ancient petroglyphs scattered across the world. Always the same pattern. Knowledge from the sky, monuments from the stars. How many coincidences make a truth? If an advanced civilization existed before ours, one capable of manipulating sound, light, and energy, then the pyramids may not be the beginning of progress. They may be the ruins of it. Imagine a world where science and spirit were one, where frequency was not just a measurement, but a bridge between worlds. That world fell, perhaps to cataclysm, perhaps to its own power, and humanity was left to rebuild from the dust, remembering only fragments. The myths of Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, they might not be legends at all, but history seen through the eyes of survivors. The evidence is there, hidden in plain sight. The erosion marks on the Sphinx suggest water damage, rainfall that hasn't touched the Giza Plateau for over 10,000 years. That means the monument predates the Sahara itself. If the Sphinx is older than Egypt, then who built it? And if it predates the pharaohs, could the pyramids too? This changes everything. The story of humanity might be far older, entstandabur, ors, endabur, and endstan, entstandabur, and en, ins, or free. Forstan, entstanderer die, and vant, nent, en bider, ndi, wo, than we've ever dared to believe. Imagine standing before the Great Pyramid at night. The wind hums low through the desert, the stars burn bright above, and silence hangs like eternity. You feel the ground vibrate under your feet, faint, rhythmic, alive. It's as if the stones themselves are breathing. You realize this isn't a monument of death, but a monument of power, a pulse frozen in stone, a heartbeat of the earth that never stopped. The ancients didn't just build a pyramid, they built a bridge. Between worlds, between ages, between man and the infinite. And maybe, just maybe, that bridge is awakening again. Today, our scientists rediscover resonance, frequency, and the physics of sound. We use lasers, plasma, and energy fields like it's in Salaber Mo. The same principles whispered by the ancients. History is coming full circle. The forgotten is becoming remembered. The impossible is becoming possible once more. The pyramids still stand, timeless, waiting for us to finally understand what they always knew. That true power lies not in domination, but in harmony. Not in conquering nature, but in resonating with it. The question is not whether the ancients had technology beyond our understanding. The real question is whether we are ready to understand it. Because if the pyramids truly hold the secret of resonance, frequency, and the energy that connects all things, then unlocking it might not just change our history, it might change our future. This is not just a story of stone and sand. It is the story of humanity itself, a story still unfolding, written in geometry, in vibration, in light. The Great Pyramid is not silent. It's still speaking. The question is, are we listening? Subscribe to Unveil Archive and join us as we continue to unveil the truths that history tried to hide.